Grasses are a common feature of the Montana landscape. In fact, over 2/3 of Montana is dominated by grasses, and nearly 250 grass species have been documented in the state. Grasses provide forage and shelter for livestock and wildlife. We also use them as turf and ornamental plants as well as crops. There are a lot of reasons to learn to identify grasses. Is your grass good forage for livestock? Is it a weed? Was it a contaminant in crop seed? Or perhaps you're simply interested in learning more about your environment. Despite their prevalence, differentiating one species of grass from another can be difficult. Grass identification requires you to look at characteristics that are small and typically not as showy as the bright and colorful petals of broad-leaved wildflowers. Before a grass flowers and produces seeds, you must rely on vegetative characteristics, meaning those of the leaves, stems, and roots. We will start by talking about leaves. A grass leaf includes the sheath and the blade. The sheath portion of the leaf wraps around the stem. Some grasses, like this brome here, have a closed leaf sheath. That means the edges of the sheath are fused together, and it might look somewhat like a V-neck t-shirt. Leaf sheaths can also be open or overlapping, as is the case with this wheatgrass here. This is where the edges of the leaf sheath are not fused, and they just overlap each other around the grass stem, and you can pull them away like this. Whether or not a leaf sheath is hairy can also be important for identification. Leaf sheaths can have hairs all over them, like this brome, or else they might have no hairs or simply have hairs along the edge of the leaf sheath. The blade is the portion of the leaf that diverges from the plant at the upper end of the sheath. Characteristics found in the area where the leaf sheath and blade meet are especially important for grass identification. One characteristic to look for is an auricle. An auricle is a small outgrowth or ear-like lobe that may occur on either side of the leaf sheath blade junction. If auricles are present, they can be claw-like and overlapping, rounded or lobed, or completely absent. Another important characteristic in this area is a ligule. A ligule is a structure on the inside of the leaf blade where it meets the leaf sheath. If present, it will be a membrane or a line of hairs. It is most visible if you gently pull the blade away from the stem. Ligules can be membranous or hairy, and some species don't have a ligule at all. This wild oat plant has a membranous ligule, so it has a membranous piece of tissue at the base of the leaf blade. This green foxtail plant has a ligule made up of a short fringe of hairs. After the inflorescence or seed head of a grass develops, identification becomes easier. The inflorescence can take on a variety of shapes, but it is convenient to group them into 3 broad categories: spike, tightly branched, and loosely branched or diffuse. This wheatgrass plant here has an example of a spike inflorescence or seed head. That means that the individual flowers or seeds are attached directly to the main stem of the plant without a stalk. Another type of inflorescence is a tightly branched inflorescence. At first glance, this might look like a spike, but if you look a little bit closer and you pull some of the individual flowers away from the main stem, you can see that they're attached by a short stalk. The third type of inflorescence is a loosely branched or diffuse inflorescence. An example of this is cheatgrass. This type of inflorescence has long stalks attaching the flowers to the main stem, giving the inflorescence an airy appearance. Awns are another feature of the inflorescence that aid in grass identification. An awn is a slender bristle that is attached to some portion of the flower and seed. Awns often remain attached to the seed and aid in dispersal. 2 notable examples of awns are those of cheatgrass and needle and thread grass. Species can be divided into those that have awns and those that do not. And for those that have awns, the length of the awn is important for identification. Some examples include the bluegrasses, or poa species, which do not have awns, the fescues, which are mostly awn-tipped, and the brome grasses, which can be longer awned. Whether awns are bent or straight will further help you identify a grass. One final note about grass identification is that the overall appearance of how the grass grows is helpful. Grasses can be described as bunch grasses, which are tufted and form a clump of basal leaves and stems. Idaho fescue and blue bunch wheatgrass are great examples. Or grasses can be rhizomatous. These grasses do not form clumps, but instead grow laterally from underground stems and roots and have a spreading appearance. Western wheatgrass and smooth brome are classic rhizomatous grasses. Grasses can also be sod-forming, which means they form a mat or mass of individuals by means of rhizomes or stolons. Examples include blue grama grass or Kentucky bluegrass. Grass identification can be challenging, but once you get the hang of it, it can be fun and will certainly deepen your appreciation for grass diversity. For more information and help identifying grasses, check out these helpful resources from Montana State University Extension, which are linked in the description of this video. We'd like to thank our partners for helping to make this video possible. I'm Noelle Orloff, Associate Extension Specialist at the Scudder Diagnostic Lab. Thanks for watching.